Good day. Excuse me. I am H. Robert Silverstein, MD, for the Preventive Medicine Center and West Hartford Cable Access TV. If you have any questions about this program, please feel free to call the office at 860-549-3444. Thank you. We also have a website that has a ton of information, www, obviously, the PMC, Preventive Medicine Center.org. www.thepmc.org. First thing to talk about is the flu, corona, which is out there and a little bit rough. The way I treat the coronavirus is with moderately high dose of steroids for about 6 days, 20 milligrams of prednisone 3 times a day for 3 days, 20 milligrams twice a day for 3 days, and that's it. The main problem with the coronavirus, COVID, is not the virus itself, but that it turns on the inflammation system. So what you want to do, what I want to do, how I treat my patients, is with a strong anti-inflammatory prednisone in moderately high doses. Obviously, people need rest. I do recommend an immune enhancement. That is a best guess. That guess being something like Immune Renew by the company NOW. But there are natural food stores that have other immune stimulants along with that. Key is proper rest. When you have corona or any significant viral infection, you risk developing long COVID or long viral infection or chronic fatigue when you don't rest adequately. So it's important not to go to work, not to do stuff around the house, but to get as much sleep as you possibly can. So when you're feeling tired, don't push on, lay down, take it easy, get some sleep. I also recommend vitamin C, 500 milligrams 3 times a day, vitamin D, 5,000 units a day, quercetin, Quercetin, Pepcid, the over-the-counter anti-acid. It's not Malox, it's a H2 blocker. Selenium, zinc, those kinds of things in addition to the prednisone to help deal with this problem. Taking the prednisone and that combination has proven pretty benign. So that gets down to what is the recommendation for current coronavirus vaccination? First of all, I feel everyone is free to choose. Do it if you want to, don't do it if you don't want to. It turns out that people who are under the age of 65, who are not diabetic, who do not have an important medical condition, probably do not profit from taking the vaccine. There are questions about the safety of the vaccine, and I don't have it solved one way or the other in my mind, but we have too many vaccines in the United States. I forget what the numbers are. It's something like 50 different doses of vaccine compared to Europe, which has like, I think, 18. I'm not sure those numbers are exactly correct, but the concept of the proportion is correct. So free to choose, do it if you want to, don't do it if you don't want to. And I support the current CDC guidelines, which are different from the previous administration under Biden and the Democrats and Fauci in particular. Other than that, one of the major health topics is percent body fat. Now, what is proper is difficult. It's probably 15% body fat for men and 20% body fat for women. That's really pretty low. And how do you know when you're there? You can tell when you're there without measuring it. The way to tell is to take a look at your tummy and see if you can see where the muscles meet the muscles. And if you can't, you have more work to do, primarily diet. Weight loss is 70% diet and about 30% exercise. Yes, there are a few people who can get down to that level, not watching their diet just by exercise, but those people literally exercise hours at a time. And even then, their diet may not be the one that is the most protective. Now, I recommend that people have live sauerkraut, not canned sauerkraut, but live sauerkraut in glass jars. Some of the stores have sauerkraut, but they have it in plastic jars and it's not organic. I recommend organic sauerkraut several times a week at least, along with obviously a healthy diet. The human body, whether you and I like it, is predominantly vegan vegetarian. And it's a little complex to explain, but it turns out that there is a lining to the intestines, which is protective in keeping the bad bugs out and allowing good bugs to do their thing. Uh, what determines whether you have bad bugs or good bugs in your intestines? What determines that is the kind of food that you eat and what comes down the intestinal tract. So that if you're eating fish, chicken, turkey, meat, cheese, and eggs, cakes, cookies, chips, crackers, and so on, that is the processed food diet that is, I use the word field, foods exactly as they grow up out of the ground and in the field. So that's the difference between brown rice and white rice. That's the difference between apples and apple juice, the difference between almonds and almond butter. By the way, I specifically do recommend almond butter over peanut butter. It has healthier type fats in it. And yes, we do need some fats, but we don't need much, like fried food or French fries or potato chips. Those things are laden with fat, and fat reduces insulin sensitivity. Animal protein contains building blocks called amino acids. And the amino acid leucine, Leucine, is a branched chain amino acid. Now, the branched chain amino acids do promote growth, and that's why weightlifters will supplement themselves with the branched chain amino acids. Personally, I don't think that's a good idea because the branched chain amino acids turn on a chemical direction in the human body called mTOR, small m, capital T, capital O, capital R, mechanistic or mammalian target of rapamycin, mTOR. And that is the aging pathway, which is opposed by the healthful pathway of AMPK, the adenosine monophosphate kinase. So mTOR opposes AMPK and the other way around. AMPK opposes mTOR. mTOR is the aging disease pathway that predisposes to the development of diabetes, reduces the immune system, and makes the tumor fighting lymphocytes weaker. So, so that leads me to what I've always said and all along. And what I've always said and all along is, like it or not, the human body is essentially vegan vegetarian, like our closest biologic cousins, chimpanzees, orangutans, gorillas, and so on. Now, I remember one day I was watching, I guess, Discovery Channel, and I saw these baboons who went down to the seashore and dug up mollusks and ate them. And I was surprised by that because I knew that chimpanzees and gorillas didn't eat animal protein except very, very rarely. So obviously there is a natural frequency of primates that do eat animal protein. I don't know what percent of their diet that is, but is run away here in the United States with animal protein intake approaching 100 grams a day, when about 45 is right for women and 55 is right for men. So let's say you want to build muscle, then fine, add 10 to each one, 55 for women and 65 for men, but that's not 100. We eat too much animal protein, and that's part of the explanation for why there is so much diabetes, cancer, heart disease, open heart surgery, diverticulitis, overweight, et cetera, et cetera. So once again, I encourage you to go to the website, www.2gether, thepmc.org. And when you do it on your computer, it'll bring you to you can go to the right-hand side where you'll see in red 5/1/25, May 1st, 2025, Department of Medicine Grand Rounds. Click on that, you'll watch a video. You'll see a world famous nutritionist by the name of William Spear. He presents for the first 18 minutes, and then I take over with rather technical talk, which is being updated. So I encourage you to go to the website, thepmc.org, and see those videos. And there's also a bunch of other interesting items, particularly one called aphorisms, which is a bunch of short, pithy statements about health and life in general. Now, do you have any questions? What are the problems in West Hartford? What are the healthcare problems in West Hartford? And the healthcare problems in West Hartford are primarily overweight, also cataracts and diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. And these things are largely driven by what we eat and exercise. Smoking is obviously important, but much less important than it used to be in terms of disease generation. It's not like I'm saying you can smoke. I'm saying that the major cause of diseases turns out to be what we eat. Next, I want to talk about microplastics. Microplastics get into our water, into our air, into our food. There are foods that are believed to have a beneficial effect in protection from microplastics. Wild blueberries, blackberries, currants, blue corn, purple sweet potatoes, all vegan, vegetarian foods that turn out to be protective as far as microplastics go. The microplastic issue is really an important issue. I do recommend air filters at home. Generally, I don't know about all the various brands. The one that I'm familiar with is SunPure. There is one by a commercial company called Aerus, A-E-R-U-S, and I don't know how that works or its benefit with regard to microplastics and air pollution. But air filters are a good idea, as are water filters. I have a water filter on my kitchen sink. I should have it on my shower. I should have it for the whole house. I didn't do that. Those filters have to be changed periodically. Mine is 5 years, and I think I'm into the second year of my current filter. So you have to breathe clean air, drink clean water, eat an essentially organic and unprocessed whole foods, nearly vegan diet, exercise to the point of having abdominal clear lines of definition and demarcation, and then do not have unrealistic expectations. And that addresses much anxiety and depression. Anxiety and depression are in large part about not accepting the difficulties of life and then persevering through them. You might say, well, what about if your mother died? Or what if you were in a tragic accident and had your leg cut off? I'm sorry to be factual, but that is the fact, and you will deal with it as best possible. Your health will return, your anxiety and depression will recede when you simply accept the difficulties of life and persevere through them. That sounds harsh. That sounds not empathetic, but it is totally empathetic. It is totally sympathetic, because you should not prolong the debility of the problems you're already in. You need to get out of those problems psychologically as best you can and understand with humility it is your obligation to persevere. Like the charge of the light brigade, cannons on the left, cannons on the right, and then it goes on. Ours is not to reason why. Ours is but to do or die. Well, I'm hardly talking about dying, but I am talking about doing. So you have to persevere through the difficulties as best possible. Uh, every now and then you see the story of someone who was in prison falsely accused and so on. Uh, Eventually they got out. Now, that's not always the case. Some do, some don't. But those who do have their freedom because they persevered through the difficulties and now they are free. An interesting non-parallel parallel is people who win the lottery often get themselves into trouble and end up worse off economically than they were before they won the lottery. That's always amazed me, but on the other hand, it's not surprising and it is reality. But going back to perseverance is everything. Be calm. What is it the British say? Stay calm and carry on. I think that's on one of the English tea boxes. Stay calm and carry on. That is about persevering through difficulties with humility and determination. Now, so what's going on? I don't want to get into the current local politics, except to say that the taxation in West Hartford is really high. I don't know if it's any higher than surrounding communities and so on, but are you certain that your tax dollars are being well spent? And if you aren't, then you ought to think about regime change. Um, West Hartford still is great. It's a great place to be. It's one of the top living spaces, and I'm very pleased to live in West Hartford and share in its beauty. Hartford has its benefits too, but like West Hartford, Hartford has its upsides and its downsides. So the politics do become important. Here's a question for you: Who who or what is the largest employer in the state of Connecticut? Think about that for a minute. Is it one of the commercial firms? Is it the insurance companies? Is it manufacturing? No, it turns out to be the state of Connecticut. We have so many employees working for the state of Connecticut that they are the number one employer in the state of Connecticut. So anyhow, if you support that, then continue to support your political decision. And if you're opposed to that, then speak up and say something. All right, getting back to health and so on. Um, what about disease generation is it that we tend to accept? We tend to accept all of our bad behaviors, all of our drinking soft drinks, juices. Yes, I'm opposed to drinking juice, except once in a while. I'm not actually opposed to anything once in a while. If you said you wanted a hamburger, I'd say fine. It's a question of how many times a year. That white bread, that red meat is full of branched chain amino acids. It's full of heme iron. Both of those things create a little bit of fire in the human body. So everything has an implication. There's a book out now that says something that has a great title. And the title of the book is The Body Keeps the Score. Now, frankly, that book says what I say on my website and have said for forever. And what that is the body recognizes everything we do. And if you do the wrong thing, it's likely to punish you over time. A number of years ago, I placed an ad in the Hartford Courant. It was expensive back then, and I only ran it for a few days. The ad wasn't that big, but the concept was literally the same. The name of the ad from the Preventive Medicine Center was The Alert Judge. And that concept is that your body recognizes everything you do. And then, depending upon your genetic sensitivity, it may or may not punish you. And most of us, because we don't feel the immediate effect of what we do, we think we're not being punished. Well, things build up over time, and then comes the payday. of the later development of diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, need for angioplasty, open heart surgery, stroke, disability, et cetera, et cetera. All these things come from what we do. And if we didn't do them, we wouldn't have those issues. And even to a point, those things are all reversible. Yes, diabetes is reversible at the 95% level. High cholesterol is reversible at the 95% level. High blood pressure is 95% reversible. So you get the idea. We make these disorders happen. We can make them unhappen. As a matter of fact, that was the name of an article I published in January, I think, of 2025, called The Unhappening of Heart Disease. That article is on my website, on the Preventive Medicine Center website, www.thepmc.org. The Unhappening of Heart Disease. You go click on that and you can see a video, or you can actually read the article. And even though it's a scientific article, it's clear enough that you will understand what it is about. It's not in such technical language. Okay, so I see we're getting towards the end. Once again, for the fifth time probably, if you have any questions, please contact the Preventive Medicine Center at 860-549-3444. The weather is beautiful these days. Enjoy our gorgeous warm days and cool nights. This and mid to late spring, mid autumn are the prettiest times of the year. In the spring, we have the growth energy. In the fall, we have the relaxation, beauty energy. And then, of course, winter comes, but it's not so bad. Hasn't been so bad here in Connecticut. Are you a believer in climate change? I'm definitely a believer in climate change. I'm just not a believer that it's man-made. We are in a cooling period with periodic episodes of warming. But the general trend for the past 10,000 years has been cooling. And so it makes perfect sense that we would have a little bit of warming here and there. All right, I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, as I've said over and over again, please contact the Preventive Medicine Center at 860-549-3444. Good day and God bless you all on this gorgeous, gorgeous weather of the fall. Hope you enjoy it. Blessed be all.